Good afternoon. I'm Treasure Roberts. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching Governor J.B. Pritzker's daily update on COVID-19. Here are today's numbers. Now, there are 2,049 new cases in Illinois, 98 new deaths, and 35,108 total cases, and bringing that to 1,565 deaths total in Illinois. Now, Dr. Ngozi Ezike with the Illinois Department of Public Health says that one of the keys to stopping the pandemic is testing. And with that, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced 2 extra drive-through sites that will be available pretty soon. He says they'll be in Rockford and Aurora. He also says that there is more personal protective equipment that has been sent out, over 15 million items, and that includes masks, gloves, gowns, and face shields. He also says it is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. He's encouraging you to still celebrate our planet even when you're at home. Well, the Senate passed the bill to keep people employed during the coronavirus pandemic. Now it's heading to the House for a vote. Skylar Henry reports this comes as President Trump is focused on reopening the economy and getting the 22 million Americans on unemployment back to work.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she believes the House will pass a nearly $500 billion stimulus package tomorrow.
We're in a tradition of having this be the 4th bill that we will be passing in a bipartisan spirit.
The deal includes $310 billion for small business loans to keep workers on the payroll, $60 billion of which will be set aside for smaller banks and lenders.
Until we can begin to open up the economy, we can't spend enough money to solve the problem.
It also includes $25 billion for coronavirus testing.
We will not get America moving again until we have a nationwide, well thought out, well executed testing program.
While the stimulus package was designed to keep workers employed, President Trump says he's taking another step to ensure American citizens are the first to be hired as the economy reopens.
It would be wrong and unjust for Americans laid off by the virus to be replaced with new immigrant labor flown in from abroad.
The president says he'll sign an executive action today to suspend immigration. It's expected to pause green cards for 60 days.
By pausing immigration, we'll help put unemployed Americans first in line for jobs as America reopens. So important.
The president says the order will not impact workers coming to America on a temporary basis. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
And today marks 30 days since Governor J.B. Pritzker announced the stay-at-home order. While many are urging him to reopen Illinois sooner than later, others have concerns, saying CDC guidelines need to be followed regardless.
My family has prepared to be at home until at least August or September. Even if it was lifted sooner than that, we wouldn't be out.
Health experts say it'll be about 18 months before a vaccine is available, needed to do a full and safe reopen. And COVID-19 is keeping kids out of school and in a home where they could be exposed to violence. Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke to a child abuse counselor and tells us how you can help kids during this high-stress time.
Children may be saved from catching the coronavirus by staying at home, but some of them may still be fighting a more difficult battle.
From January to now, the number of calls made to the hotline for child abuse is up. Since the pandemic and school has been out, the calls have drastically reduced.
That's because the children aren't interacting with those professionals who would normally report suspicions of abuse or neglect.
It's scary to think about the children that people are not really being able to lay eyes on right now.
That's where you can get involved, and you can do it from home.
If you're, on a FaceTime call or Skype or something, and just kind of be mindful, be aware. A change in behavior with a child is a red flag.
It may not necessarily indicate child abuse, but it should prompt you to ask questions about what's going on. For those parents who are going through a difficult time, Cornetta advises you to step away when you need to.
Take some deep breaths. Give yourself some time out and know that this too shall pass.
What you do now can have a lasting impact on you and your child.
And ServPro is keeping first responders in Central Illinois safe. Today, crews cleaned around 60 cars at the Peoria Police Department. Workers use hospital-grade sanitation supplies to disinfect surfaces. President Jason Fletcher says this is just one way they can help people on the front lines.
Our biggest goal here is to try to make sure that our first responders do not get infected if we have any way of controlling it, and it's just one measure that we can help them at no cost to them, try to keep them on the streets so they can keep us safe.
ServPro also serviced fire and police department vehicles in Pekin and East Peoria. And a Missouri couple didn't let the pandemic stop their wedding day. After canceling their plans in Colorado, they exchanged vows and said their I do's on their front porch. Friends and family came to the house and kept a distance while congratulating the newlyweds.
It's been really special. It's been cool. So yeah, coronavirus wedding, I would have never imagined this being our wedding day, ever. But yeah, we're making the best of it.
We're going to just look back and laugh at it. It's just, because that's all you can do. I mean, it was crazy.
Christine admits they weren't going to see all their friends. If their original plans had not fallen through, their plan was to elope. Congratulations to them. And a songwriter is finding her voice during a personal health crisis. Now she's sharing it with others. She was inspired by her own experiences and encouragement from someone who knows what it's like to fight a life-threatening disease as a young adult.
This time has been really good for me. I've been writing a lot. I'm just a sad girl in a sundress. That song is called Garden. I felt like it was really fitting. It's one of my favorite choruses I've ever written. I was doomed from the top. Maybe love can grow from our hurt. The last line of the chorus is, maybe love can grow from our hurt. And I just thought it was really fitting for this time where we're all kind of hurting. It had the message that I wanted of, you know, maybe we can all learn to love a little bit more during this time of hurt.
This is a good song. I forgot about this.
We first met Olivia Ports about a year ago at Lurie Children's Hospital, where she was undergoing her routine treatment.
Well, I have a primary immunodeficiency, so basically every 3 weeks I come in and get antibodies. It's made from all donated plasma.
But there is much more to her story. The 19-year-old shared her songwriting skills with us.
I guess I'll write on this page now.
And talked about what inspired her to record an album. Turns out this guy had a little something to do with it.
It was during a time that I was very sick and I was pretty much at rock bottom, and I had no idea he was coming, and he kind of just like walked into my room, and it was the best day ever, for sure. Anthony Rizzo really inspired me because he talks so openly about his health, which is something I was very scared to do. I didn't want people to just like my music because I was like the sick girl. How Anthony Rizzo kind of inspired me to, you know, speak my truth and tell my health story, because it's my story, it's not just my health story. I've really been like opening up in my songwriting and just being honest about the experiences that I've gone through. I feel like I've really learned not to be afraid of being judged. I've been in a very creative space during this stay-at-home time. I'm just very thankful to have music during this time. So yeah, I hope everyone's safe and healthy. Maybe love can grow from our hurt.
Still ahead, COVID-19 forces Earth Day celebrations to go digital this year. But climate scientists say there's an upside to stay-at-home orders, how they're impacting the health of our planet.
I'm leaving right now.
If you have hearing loss, you can still enjoy the convenience of your cell phone with a cell phone amplifier. Free to all qualified Illinois residents from ITAC.
Yeah, they look great.
ITAC brings you simple solutions using today's technologies. Simple, easy, free. Stay connected on the go. Learn more about this free program at itactty.org. Keep Illinois connected. Other amplified and captioned phones available.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join. I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture. It helped me get my job, helped me pay for my house. Being part-time really helped because I could have some opportunities that were still in education.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
We are the strong ones, stronger together. This is a time for rising up.
I think we can all agree the last few weeks have been a roller coaster. Our lives been turned completely upside down. But through it all, we're stepping up to the plate, learning the true power of prayer, solidarity, love, strength, and even empathy. Central Illinois is working together and helping each other like never before. Yes, we're vulnerable, but we're stronger together. And it's with that strength that we will prevail. And WMBD News will continue to bring you local coverage of the battle against COVID-19 and the stories that make us Central Illinois proud.
And we're stronger, stronger together. We rise up in a time of need.
When we work together, we are stronger than our fear. We will get through this together.
Find local, shop local, get local on CIProud.com.
Boy, that looks expensive. Not my problem. Hi, George Foreman and family here. We got tired of getting sucker punched with expensive home system and appliance repair fees for about $1 a day.
We have Choice Home Warranty.
They cover over 25 major systems and appliances, including heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen, and laundry.
And if they can't fix it, they'll replace it. Never pay for covered home repairs again.
Call 800-574-3581. The Storm Tracker Network, brought to you by Linco Precision Ag Technology Solutions. Now, your local weather authority forecast from meteorologist Molly Naslin.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've got clouds over the Peoria area on our Paradise camera. We are seeing some cloudy and a little bit rainy conditions across the area as we get out into the afternoon. Temperatures today are going to top off in the 70s for a lot of areas. Some locations will be staying in the upper 60s, but overall it is going to be a fantastic day today. Later on into the evening and overnight hours, we're bringing rain in from the south. A few stray showers will work their way in from the north, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing a southerly system take over south of I-74 for the most part. We'll see a few rain showers here in Peoria. Then as we head into tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, things will quiet down again. We'll see some isolated pockets of drizzle. For tomorrow, we have this system working its way into the area, taking a northeasterly track, and of course that is going to be bringing in some of our isolated showers for tomorrow morning after the main amount of rainfall wraps up early tomorrow and into the rest of the day. As we look at the future track, we've got this system passing through overnight tonight, bringing in the rainfall. Again, we see more isolated pockets of showers throughout the day tomorrow, but the main event for rain is actually coming to us in the weekend. Friday, we've got a system moving in right around the late morning and into the afternoon. Heavier rainfall is on the way for the evening, including a few rumbles of thunder for a lot of the area. As we head into Saturday, we'll hear a few more rumbles of thunder before things quiet off again into Saturday afternoon. For Friday, we are seeing a very wet start to the weekend. We're seeing wetter than normal conditions that will actually continue into Saturday, so any of you living along the river might want to be paying attention to flood stage for this weekend. No, quite a few areas, especially down where the Illinois and Mississippi rivers meet, seeing a little bit more on the higher water side of things. Tonight, though, we will see our temperatures fall, and they're not going to warm up to quite the level that we're seeing today as we head into tomorrow, though we don't go very far with our overnight temperatures. We see our conditions warm back up right back into the 60s, but not quite enough to break into that 70-degree line. It's still going to be a nice day tomorrow, despite some of these rainier conditions we'll be seeing. Tonight we'll drop down into the low 50s. We have rain overnight. Again, it's not going to be quite as cold overnight tonight that we have been seeing. Tomorrow, not quite as warm, but we've got showers in the morning that will slowly taper off as we go throughout the day. The rest of your week, though, is going to be a very wet one. We've got thunderstorms in the area on Friday that will roll over into Saturday as well. Sunday, we bring the sunshine back into the area, but on Monday, we have another chance for rain.
After the break, we'll take a look at how other states are beginning to reopen.
I am Luis, the personal assistant and loving friend to Javier and Elizabeth.
We lost our fortune. It was because of your reckless spending.
We now live with Elizabeth's sister and her son Sammy.
It is a little warm in here.
I would never leave them, even though they are broke.
I love not having a job.
There may not be much money in that.
Yes, we are a mess, but we're also familia.
Tea?
I hate tea.
It's mostly whiskey.
love tea. A new broke Thursday at 9:30, 8:30 Central on CBS.
At Great Harvest Bread Company, you know you're getting real food that tastes great. With a variety of breads, sandwiches, goodies, and more, made with fresh ingredients, including freshly milled flour. Great Harvest Bread Company of Peoria and Morton. Bread the way it ought to be.
Our next question is, how would your co-anchors make their eggs?
I think Shelby would like to have her scrambled just because it's easier to do.
Shelby would like something bougie, like maybe Eggs Benedict.
And I think Mark would probably like a nice meaty omelet.
Over easy for Mark, probably. Scrambled for Molly.
I think Molly would take hers scrambled with a little bit of salt.
WMBD This Morning, weekdays followed by CBS This Morning.
As we all know, everything worthwhile in life is uphill. Well, the hill has gotten considerably steeper.
And I can guarantee that there's no doubt that whatever it is that we need to do, we will do.
During this tough time, it's important to stay together.
Wash your hands.
And more importantly, stay safe.
We want to say thank you and pray for all the essential workers.
Especially those in the medical field. Thank you and God bless.
Stay in, stay safe, stay positive.
But remember, not fist bumps, air fives.
As we protect ourselves from COVID-19, care for your emotional health too. Stay informed, keep in contact with friends, family, and neighbors. Have a schedule, eat nutritious foods, and get some activity. To receive a daily call, contact 211.
Coronavirus, fact versus fiction. Continuing coverage on WMBD and the free CI Proud to Go mobile app. You're watching WMBD News at 3.
Governor J.B. Pritzker says that fully reopening the state won't happen at the end of the month. This statement comes as states across the country are beginning to open up business doors. Mark Maxwell has the story.
President Trump pressured governors Tuesday to phase out restrictions they put in place to protect people from the coronavirus.
What's happening when you look at the numbers coming down, a lot of states are in really great shape. You're going to see a lot of openings.
In Texas, get Texas back to work. Florida,
we have flattened the curve.
Georgia,
reopen their doors this Friday.
And Missouri.
We're going to open the state.
Republican governors are following President Trump's lead and moving quickly to reopen parts of their economies. In Illinois,
you know, the peak is still yet to come. We need to be careful.
Governor J.B. Pritzker warned against the rush to reopen.
You know, to remove it, as I see some other governors may want to do, to remove it entirely is to simply open everything back up to infection. That will go right back up again if you remove all the restrictions.
Pritzker previously said Illinois was reaching its peak on April 12.
Reaching a peaking.
Tuesday, he said the state could reach its peak 1 month later than that. He said experts warn him not to lift the stay-at-home order until 2 weeks after the peak arrives.
If in fact the peak comes in mid-May or whenever that may come, we need to have 14 days after that, as you know, according to many of the experts.
But facing political pressure from Springfield Republicans,
the economy of Illinois.
Governor Pritzker suggested a new stay-at-home order for the month of May could feel a lot different than the one we have now.
We're working hard to try to make changes to the stay-at-home order.
Pritzker gave no official word Tuesday, but did suggest he's considering allowing some regions or some industries to reopen sooner rather than later.
I want to caution that there isn't, I don't think there's going to be some mass opening of lots and lots and lots of businesses on May 1.
And the governor, who has wrestled with President Trump at
Pritzker
times on testing capacity, says that is the key to really opening everything up.
And the fact that we're going to need, a whole lot more, means we have to leave things, still in a place that seems, not normal to everybody and won't be for some time.
Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
Well, the coronavirus has created challenges for businesses around the world, but it's also prompted innovation. A company in Finland found a new way to open refrigerator doors. These handles are created from recycled plastic in a 3D printer. The invention helps cut down on touching, making everything hands-free.
Brainstorm how could we contribute to solving this crisis. So then we came up with the idea to come up with this product of handle.
European hospitals are also working to make their doors hands-free. Some are using similar handles or hooks to avoid touching doors while caring for patients.
Today marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. I'm Nancy Chin with what organizers say people can do to celebrate on their own and the changes already seen in the environment with hundreds of millions staying at home.
Let's face it, getting what you want in life takes work. It requires planning, imagination, and sometimes a little help. That's where SEFCU comes in. We're a credit union, not a bank. So we offer friendly service, great rates, and smarter options, all to help you reach your goals. We call it people helping people. You'll call it better. SEFCU, not a bank, better.
This is important news for people who have taken Zantac or its generic ranitidine and then suffered from cancer. Zantac and generic ranitidine have been linked to cancers, such as bladder cancer and kidney cancer. According to the FDA, Zantac and ranitidine contain NDMA, a known cancer-causing agent. NDMA has been linked to cancers of the bladder, kidney, colon, esophagus, liver, ovaries, pancreas, and other cancers. If you or a loved one took Zantac or ranitidine and were then diagnosed with cancer, call the lawyers at Davis & Crump right now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the lawyers at Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one took Zantac or generic ranitidine and were then diagnosed with bladder cancer, kidney cancer, or any of these cancers. Call now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
If you love them enough to crawl into a playplace to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Not everyone is destined to be an elite athlete, but for those with chronic knee pain, performing even the simplest task can be a challenge. Thankfully, ICPR has a solution. Proven up to 90% effective, ICPR's knee arthritis program delivers medicine to the exact point it's needed most. Now you can play harder, run faster, live fuller.
Limit the pain, not the activity.
Call for a free consultation. You're watching WMBD News at 3.
Today marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and this year's theme is climate action. As Nancy Chin reports, although COVID-19 has forced many of us inside, climate experts say stay-at-home orders have had a positive effect on the environment.
With half the world's population staying at home, these cloudy days are bringing clearer skies.
This is wonderful. Places like New York, Los Angeles, Denver, all cities around the world are seeing the best air quality that they've seen in a long, long time.
The 50th anniversary of Earth Day comes as global carbon dioxide emissions are expected to fall to their lowest level since World War II. Water is clearer in many areas, and animal sightings are up. Even rare wildflowers and a declining bee population could benefit as roadside fields aren't cleared as often.
We've probably got about, I should think, probably three weeks worth of growth that often we wouldn't have had already. And this is such an exciting time of year, Nancy, because now in Britain, all these plants are gearing up with loads of energy to start flowering.
Organizers say more than 1 billion people typically participate in Earth Day activities. And this year, there are plenty of ways to celebrate the outdoors from inside.
EarthDay.org has an interactive map with virtual events all over the country and the world, from teach-ins to film screenings. And while large-scale cleanups won't be happening, there are lots of practical things you can do from your home. Consider a no plastic buy challenge, starting with one item. Reduce meat and dairy consumption. Cut back on water use. Start a backyard compost pile. Build a birdhouse or feeder, or make crafts with recycled items. Climate watchers also say to brainstorm about the future.
Think about what you can do once we emerge from this crisis to help the environment.
Activists say every little bit really does help. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Don't go anywhere. Molly has your forecast when we get back.
I call David Hunt. When I need help for a case, I don't even consider anyone else. He has never made me feel like we were beating someone. It was always what's fair. What's fair? This is what's fair. This is what's right. This is what's for you. This is what you deserve. I like dealing with people like that. I'm not out to cheat anybody, and he's not either. Just what's fair.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Attention. This is a special announcement to Americans. If you're struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, personal loans, collection accounts, or medical bills, it could take you decades to pay them off. Call National Debt Relief right now to see if you qualify for the Debt Reset program. You could pay only a fraction of what you owe, and your debt balance and monthly payments may be reduced while you become debt-free in just 24 to 48 months. National Debt Relief has already helped thousands of Americans avoid bankruptcy and become debt-free. National Debt Relief has earned a top rating from Consumer Affairs and is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Call National Debt Relief now to speak to a certified debt relief specialist to see if you qualify for the Debt Reset program. There are no upfront costs, and you could resolve your debt for a fraction of what you owe. Call 1-800-754-1403. 1-800-754-1403. 1-800-754-1403.
You asked, we listened. The all-new CI Proud to Go weather app. Everything you need to know about weather, and it's easy to use. Central Illinois' fastest live Viper radar. Swipe for current weather conditions with forecasts set for your home and your favorite locations. And because your safety matters to us, you'll know when severe weather is approaching with our exclusive alerts customized to your exact location. The only weather app you need for vital local weather information 24/7. CI Proud to Go weather. Upgrade right now for free. You're watching WMBD News at 3.
We've got rain on the way today, and as we head into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, thunderstorms are possible as we move into Friday. Those will carry us over into Saturday. Slightly cooler temperatures are expected Saturday, but we see a warming trend as we head into the beginning of the next week, with sunshine returning on Sunday.
Well, as they say, April showers bring May flowers. I am hoping to see some beautiful flowers come next month. You can find more information and resources on the COVID-19 pandemic on our website, ciproud.com, and click on the coronavirus tab. Thanks for joining us today. The Peoria City County Health Department is about to give its briefing as well. You can watch that live right now on our sister station at WYZZ. See you back here tomorrow.